traits, or traits, characteristics of Python that include it's a dynamic type language. So what is dynamically typed language? Uh, think if I mean it would be easy to explain for those who are having at least knowledge or experience with C language. So remember the other day I have sent in Skype, sorry, in WhatsApp. I have sent three different languages, right?
Yes.
So
C,
he,
Java, Python.
yeah, yeah. So look at C. Look at C code. Look at C code. That is static type language. So why it
Okay.
is static type language? Type. Type means type of the variable. Okay. Type. Type in the sense type of the variable or a value. So in a static type language, type is associated with a variable. Static
Okay.
type language. And you have to pre-declare. Declare what variables you want to use throughout the program. Prior you use. Okay. Prior you use a variable. You have to declare its type in a static type language. So look at that C code. Let me send the C code to next type once. Both
Yeah, yeah.
type. See, look at this code. Here we need to declare the variable name of the variable or identifier, and its type. Here we use that a variable in a static type language. And once you declare a type, you can't change the type in a static type language. It means if you declare a variable n here as int, that cannot be float, that cannot be character or other type throughout the scope of its variable. And you can't assign other type, other values of other type into variable of uh, type associated with that variable particularly. Let's say, in other words, let me explain. If n is a int, you can assign 2, 3 that are integers, but you can't assign 2.5 or c that are float and character respectively. So, uh, wha- two things we have seen here. One, we have to declare a variable. Two, the type of that variable cannot be changed. In fact, three things are there. Last one is type is associated with a variable. Okay, so one of the toughest job, is declaring a variable prior you use. It's like giving a statement. It's like giving a statement, like I'm using so on so. It's like in your childhood, like or when you are in class, telling a teacher, here you do something, so miss, I'm doing this, miss, I'm doing that, miss, I'm going for a leisure. So it's like that. You can't. It's like you can't use that certain variable unless you declare. That is a static type language. So, but Python is dynamic type language. So here, let me let me paste same code of Python right below this one. This is Python one. Okay, below one is Python. So here, do you see the whole
And
code
can you
is
increase the size? Let
okay.
us.
So if you can see, this one is C and this one is Python. Okay, whole code got reduced. Do you see? One of the significant changes are we haven't declared any variables. It's like a declaring. Declaring means that uh, doing something. I mean here we declare variables prior we use or before we put them into the use. So here there is no declaration in a Python, only definition. You know, declaring a variable is nothing but a defining a variable and assigning a value to its uh, some variable. So this de- the, and it happens runtime. Okay, but here it's a compile time before, the in a static type languages there are two type, things are there: compile time and runtime. Compile time means that, the uh, du- time during compilation. Runtime means that, you know uh, during the execution. Here, variable will be defined on runtime, on fly, when program is being executed, without no need to declare. And declaring is nothing. Declaration is implicit. It is nothing but assigning a value or defining a. So it's also called definition. Defining a value or assigning a value to some variable implicitly declares a variable, and there is no type associated with this a variable. Do you see that nowhere we have mentioned int, float, char, uh, something like that? No type def. So there is no type at all here. So type is implicit here in Python. So implicit means uh, that Python on fly determines the type of that variable. And more one thing, so there is no type association with the variable. So it means that if you declare a variable, it is like a generic. If you can assign any type. See, if you can see my screen, okay. So let's say that I have assigned integer to that variable. Again, n contains integer, and I can assign float. Okay, there is no strict type association, but this is not possible in C or other static type language, because, like we discussed, type is associated with a variable and that cannot be changed. Uh, so here it's not like that. So totally opposite to static type. So what we see here in dynamic type languages in Python, so there's no type, there's no declaration of variables, and there's no type association with the variable, and there's no and type will be decided on fly by the interpreter based on the value that variable holds or points to. And last thing, you there is no strict, locking of type that variable can hold, because variable can hold any type. If you use it, if you initially assign an integer, later you can assign float or string, character, list, any type. So that is dynamic. That is the one of the first, characteristics of Python that made Python is made Python powerful, quick, easy to write, and less code, more work. Another thing is strong type. Okay, so there are languages here. So dynamically typed and strong type. So what is strong type? Strong type means that Python cares about type. Let me show you that in action. Uh, See, there are languages, that uh, spread across the axis for this dynamic typed and strong type languages. Just a moment. Let me show you some graph here. That would be. And do you see the screen? Hello. Do you see this
Yes,
image?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Yeah. So if you take two axes, I'll explain what is strong type. Uh, there are different languages that are spread across this axis, strong and dynamic type. static, dynamic, weak and strong type. You know what opposite of strong type is weak type, opposite of static type is dynamic type or dynamically type. So we have discussed what is static type and what is dynamically typed. In static type, we have to declare prior use, and type is a variable, and it is opposite for dynamic type. And what are the static type languages you see here? C Sharp, F Sharp, Haskell, Java. These are all static type, but and also strong type. If you take a C is a weak type and a static type. You know, C is a static and weak, and C++ is even more static. So like that, they are spread languages spread across this axis. And if you take a Python you see Python is dynamic type and also strong type. Python is. So it is in this quadrant. And if you take a JavaScript is one of the language uh, that is that is basically both dynamic and weak type. And there are Perl and PHP, VB are there, but JavaScript is the one of the popular one. So I'll show you the difference between this strong type and weak type. Okay. So let me show you. Can you add a plus 3?
No,
Can you do this?
no, no.
No.
No. So why?
A is a string.
Yeah, A is a string. It means that if you don't know what is string, you can say it is a character. It is something, though both are
Yeah.
not compatible, right?
Yes.
Both are not compatible. So that is not allowed. But can you do this? 3 plus 3?
No.
Still they are not compatible. We haven't discussed that data types if you don't know. But for the time being, understand. So this is string because we represent using. So you need to understand both are totally different. They might be actually symbolically represent the same thing, but as a value both are different. It's like a string or the word you use, uh, 3, but that is not a integer, so which is not compatible for a addition or a mathematical operations. That that should not happen. So Py, so what happens? Python doesn't allow that. So Python doesn't allow, mangling both things that are not compatible, uh, implicitly, without giving you some error. It doesn't make any changes uh, for types that are not compatible. So it is strong type. Let me actually show you what is a weak type. Okay, so let me open JavaScript console. You can open inspect by clicking on inspect. So you can enter into JavaScript console. Can you see screen? Hello, can you see?
Yes, no.
Yeah. See here, that is, I think, you can't see 3 plus 3, right? Let me do this in console. I have Node.js.
Mm.
Can you see now?
Yes, no.
So this is a JavaScript interpreter, okay, which is a Node.js interpreter. So it is same as a Python. See, I have shown you just shown you that uh, JavaScript is also dynamic. So it means that it is also a scripting language. It is also an interpreter language, but weak type. So let me show you the difference. In a JavaScript, if I do 3, which is a string, basically that is it's like a, it's like a, okay? You see, you see, a plus 3, does it make sense? Can you see on screen? Can you see on screen? A plus 3.
Yeah.
So when when I show you something, what do you think implicitly? You think, hey, how can you add a and 3? That is what you think, right?
Yes.
5. So, but you see, it is actually adding both. So
Mm.
instead of performing addition, it is doing concatenation. But that is not, what you expect implicitly. Because implicitly, when I show you, last time in a Python interpreter, when I show you, when I asked you, can you do this? You said immediately, without just a second thought, you said it's not possible because you can't add a and 3. They are not compatible. They are totally different things. So you must be thinking that, we think same way, but dynamic type languages, they actually uh, cross that boundary, and they make implicitly they change or perform operations, you see. And if I do 3 plus 3, so what is happening? No, that, what do you expect when I do this 3 plus 3? You would expect 6, right? But what do you see here? 33
Yes.
in JavaScript. So it does the type cohesion, conversion. So based on from one type to another type. So what it is doing here, implicitly, it means that without giving you any warning or any exception, it is converting one type to another type, like here. So converting 3 to string and performing concatenation instead of addition. That is a weak type. Okay. So what is problem with weak type? So problem with weak type is you will encounter logical errors. You know, without knowing, you are giving some here string, but you are expecting that to be integer here. But in the output, if instead of 6, it is a 33, uh, that is a wrong, unexpected error without noticing. Let's say that you know, uh, think of it as something, related to finance. Okay, ATM transaction or bank transaction. You are performing user account contains already 3456553, and how much he deposited? Let's say that 5,000. So how much it should be? It should be like 8,453, right?
Yes.
But user is getting that much. If I add, you see, he's getting uh, he's getting 34 million, 34.53 million dollars, let's say. Okay, so that is totally unexpected. You don't actually recognize that error as well. So that is the reason it is called weak type. But Python is a strong type. It says no, no, that is both are actually incompatible. I don't add them. So it says though those cannot be added. So I don't perform that operation. It says that is the exception. You see, it is giving error immediately. So do you enjoy this thing? Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And what is next one? So next one is, already Python is interpreter. It means that it is an interpreter language. We have seen difference between compilation and interpretation, and Python provides interpreter. The interpreter that you can actually, that is decouple and independent. You can quickly check what is happening uh, to check the output, and Python processes line by line as opposed to interpreter. So we know that. And next one is high level. It is very high level language. The other day we have seen different levels of programming languages. Machine code, machine language, assembly language, you know, intermediate or middle level languages like C. High level languages. High level languages include you know. So compiled languages and dynamic languages. Dynamic language is even high level, you know, that you don't expect any things related to low level, like dealing with memory and pointers or any drivers, you know, very low level. So Python is high level language so that it is easy for humans to understand. Another thing is Python is portable. So this thing we discussed very first. Python is portable. So what does it mean? You write code once and execute everywhere. You don't need to compile to that platform specific binary code because Python is not compiled language. It just Python, you just ship the source code or byte compiled code across the platforms. All you need is a Python interpreter, which is in the sense virtual machine, Python virtual machine. So that is enough. You don't need to tweak changes. You don't need to compile or distribute platform specific binaries. So uh, write code once, distribute everywhere. So that works pretty good everywhere on every platform, like a Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, okay, or Android, Raspberry Pi, Debian, okay, Kali Linux. So you name it. Okay, different platforms, different hardware. It works everywhere. So it is a portable, platform independent. It's a I can say it has a platform independent portable, or you can say you can refer both ones. Another thing is, you know, another three traits are memory manager. Python comes with memory manager. So if you take a look at C, you need to actually, if you recall, there are actually functions malloc and calloc and a free functions in a C. The you if you actually use heap memory, uh, you need to actually as opposed to stack that is used for variables. If you use heap, you need to be you programmer is responsible to clean up the memory that is being allocated in the program. Otherwise, there will be a memory leak, and that is too dangerous, and the program will crash. But Python is even taking it to the next level. Programmer no need to worry about memory management no longer. So Python comes with the garbage collector that takes care of cleaning up memory. I mean, whatever you create, like let's say that you are actually doing you in a Python, we allocated something n equal to 3. It means that it is being stored in memory, in a sense RAM, random access memory somewhere. So we eventually this program is running for a long. Let's say that if you take a database you will restart database probably in a month, probably in 6 months or 3 months or even in a years. Probably if in long running there is no runtime or there is no update, so there is no incident. Probably will restart that in a year or a couple of years. You know, so that is a long running process. Imagine that if a database is using, you know, internally it is a C language or any programming language, and so it is allocating variable that is not being garbage collected or cleaned up in a RAM, so that they pile up, and eventually they take whole RAM. So eventually it will get to the situation where no RAM for the program, and eventually operating system will kill that program. So that will be the crash. So that is a serious situation for softwares. Now, if you like databases or any critical systems, they take this memory management garbage collection, very serious. Otherwise, serious situations arise. So, but Python, you don't have to worry about that cleaning of these variables manually or any data that you use. So why? Because Python comes with garbage collector. So we call it as a memory management. Another thing is Python object oriented. There are different types of languages like based on its programming paradigm. So Python is a multi-paradigm programming language. Multi-paradigm is Python is can be used as a functional programming or imperative and object oriented. Basically, Python is object oriented programming language. So, what is a uh, classical, type, which is a procedural language. C is a procedural language. So what is wrong with procedural? What is a uh, advantage with object oriented language? Object oriented languages, you have a very good leverage over representing real time problems in a programming, so as objects, so that it is easy to represent real time object, scenario, function, use case, or anything as an object. That is easy. So that it's like so if you take a we'll discuss more about objects in coming sessions. But if you take a video game, Mario, that character is an object, and like a bricks are like objects. Each object will be having its own traits and functions, so that we represent that as an object in a programming, and we do that around that. Code revolves around that object. So another thing is extensible. So that is the one we discussed even in earlier in earlier language in earlier uh, during the our first session, uh, first and second sessions, we said that Python is extensible. It means that if you think Python is not good enough with dealing with very low level drivers or hardware networking and stuff, you write code in C, and you use that in Python by writing Python bindings. You extend that ability of Python even further by using different languages. If you think there are a lot of libraries that Java is having, and you want to take advantage of that, use a Jython, and you can actually call Java. You can actually convert that Python code into JVM bytecode, and you can execute it. You can take care of Java libraries. So it means that Python is extensible. So apart from that Jython, if you take a C, you can extend the Python uh, so beyond its ability by writing C code and using the C functions inside Python. So these are actually so very very basic characteristics of that Python that made this Python very very special and more wanted in a programming world. So let's come to next one. How do you start? We have learned about how to open interpreter. Let's take a look at interpreter. So in another name for interpreter is REPL. Okay. Hello. So another name for interpreter is REPL, which stands for Read, Evaluate, Print Loop. Okay, so Python interpreter is a REPL, which actually reads what you type and evaluates and prints the output for a quick results. So you can open these three different interpreters we have seen. One is interpreter, another one you can use that Python IDLE or Python shell that comes with the C. Windows, you can code in that. Another thing is that go to command prompt, open that. So let's come to objects quickly. Let me explain about what is object programming. What are objects in our programming language, and then so we'll see further, because uh, before we jump into the syntax, I think it is good idea to introduce about what is meant by object. So we're discussing we that is one of the biggest advantage that made even powerful is Python is object oriented programming language.